Welcome everyone to another episode of Mehnaz Talks AI. And today I have another very interesting guest who's joining us all the way from Seattle. Ananya, why don't you do a little introduction of yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me, Mehnaz. My name is Ananya. I'm a senior cloud solution architect, data and AI at Microsoft. Started my career from software engineering, then did data engineering, data analytics, and right now more on the AI and generative AI side of the house.
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. And we spoke a little bit before, we started recording. And Ananya have so much exciting things to share and kind of brings a very unique perspective and a topic that we haven't yet covered. So I'm really excited to kind of dive into our conversation today. Just to get things started, I know we are seeing a lot of buzz around generative AI, but now it seems like companies are getting, more into the practical about like how they use it. So what do you think about like what's the most exciting trend that we are going to see in 2025? And what do you think about the emerging small language models as opposed to the large LLMs? Because that's how AI kind of got popular over the last couple of years. But now we are seeing a more evolution towards the more appetite towards small language model and agentic AI. So how do you see that changing?
Yes, absolutely. In 2025, we say generative AI is no longer experimental, and we are definitely seeing a lot more use cases in production. And some of the most exciting trends in AI is gonna be the rise of agentic AI and small language models. Now, agentic AI systems are mainly designed to operate with a high level of autonomy. They can make their own decisions, execute actions to achieve a specific goal. And these systems are also particularly valuable in high stake scenario, like let's say disaster response, real time analytics, and those kind of scenarios. And as you mentioned, right, small language models on the other side are becoming more popular due to their efficiency and ability to handle specific tasks without requiring extensive computational resource. And also, of course, it's a lot more easier to fine tune them than large language models. So these models are ideal for applications where large models are impractical, such as on mobile devices and also in environments with limited connectivity.
Okay, thank you so much. And you mentioned that, small custom AI models are becoming more popular for specialized industry. So can you share an example of like a niche industry where custom model to use like to solve a unique problem has been used and why that approach works better than using a big general purpose AI?
So, custom AI models, as you mentioned, right, are tailored to specific industries and they're proving to be highly effective. Like, for example, in the education sector, we have seen Khan Academy, right? Like, Khan Academy has launched Khan Mingo for teachers. Now, that provides free access to all US educators, and its availability has only expanded to dozens of additional markets in English. And there's also an opportunity if you want to do it in additional languages. Now, Khanmigo as a product is a AI powered teaching assistant that helps teachers with various tasks, like let's say creating lesson plans, explaining some of the highly complicated concepts, and also providing insights on student performance. And more than that, tailoring a custom experience for students depending upon where they are in their journey, right? So that tailored experience is gonna be game changer. So that's for the education industry. So definitely there's a lot of potential for accelerated learning, preparing students for the future, improve efficiency, and so much more. So, and to realize all of these benefits, we need to address some of the challenges like let's say accuracy, over resilience, cost, connectivity, efficacy, and also providing enough supports to educators. So collaborative efforts across technology providers, academics, also the education community, and also let's say the non-profits organizations like let's say Khan Academy are very essential to achieve these goals. So this approach works better than a general purpose AI model, as mentioned before, because it definitely leverages more domain specific data expertise that results in more accurate and relevant solutions for the teaching industry or for the education industry.
Okay, that's really good. And how do you like if you were to kind of simplify this for our audience, what's
Yes.
the big difference between, the large language model versus the small language models?
Of course, small language models are easy to fine tune. So if you have to provide like a very specific use case, like for that purpose, you don't need a lot of data. You need small amount of data, but only specific data. So that's the difference. So it's easier to fine tune. It's easier to deploy it on a place where there is limited internet connectivity, and also on edge, because of course, because of its nature, it can be deployed at on the edge as well. So for very fine tuned niche industries, small language models are way more efficient than large language models.
No, I completely agree. And even in my day-to-day work as well, like I'm seeing the more appetite for small language models. So we were talking a little bit about, the retail industry, because in your role right now, you kind of support in that side of things. And we haven't really deep dived into it even in my previous episodes as well. So I'm very intrigued to see, like, see this AI evolution impact, or the transformation impact the retail industry, from personalizing shopping experience to improving inventory management. So there's so much AI can do, but how do you see it, in your day to day?
Well, definitely. AI driven innovations in retail are significantly impacting customer experience first. So we are seeing a lot of AI driven personalization, like, use of real time behavioral data to tailor some of the shopping experiences for customers, like including personalized recommendations, dynamic pricing, targeted marketing, all of that. We are also seeing a lot of AI powered inventory management, where retailers can optimize stock levels, reduce waste, and also ensure product availability. And one of the most common use cases is customer service. So, because with generative AI, we are able to enable chatbots and virtual assistants to handle inquiries, resolve the issues, and also provide support around the clock, right? Because these are virtual assistants, and these are definitely not your regular chatbots, because you also have the feature to talk to your data. You necessarily don't have to just like write your questions, and it's not gonna go and search from some database and give you manual information. So if it has semantic search built in on it, so semantic search, and also vector search, so it really understands the context of your questions, and it can answer as per. Then we have also seen product categorization, right? So you can automatically organize products into relevant categories, and which makes it easier for customers to find what they need. And also for the retailers, it helps in quick product listing and quick time to market for retailers. Another popular use case is of recipe generation. So we are able to suggest recipes based on the ingredients that the customer has already purchased or they already have on their cart. Or like for example, you ask, like, for example, I want to make this particular pasta tonight, right? So what ingredients would I need? So it'll give you the exact ingredients, so you can just shop that. Or you can also add a feature of, okay, so I agree to these ingredients. This is what I want. Now add that to cart. So it definitely improves customer experience, and from a retailer standpoint, it also helps you, in kind of market basket analysis, and also selling, cross selling and upselling. And of course, it also gives a overall better shopping experience for customers. In terms of future advancements, conversational AI is getting more and more popular. We are also seeing a lot of emotion detection that's coming to the market, which is expected to further enhance customer interactions and also engagements.
And, I was recently actually seeing it in the news about an organization in the retail industry that is kind of piloting their AI call centers, where when you call, you will first get your questions try to be answered by an AI. And there's this two side of the debate. One side we are saying, like, people are gonna lose that, human connection, that human interaction. Like, a lot of people are still moving through this change that's happening. And then there are this other side of the coin where people are seeing more into the opportunities like efficiency. Because at the end of the day, even for me, like when I call customer service and someone answers the phone, that individual is answering me based on a knowledge base. And I worked at a call center too myself. So if I'm answering someone and I don't know the answer, it takes me a while to search through the knowledge base and then answer that individual. So I do see the value, but at the same time, like, how do we address folks that still, and it's true, like, as great as AI can be, there's always that fear that you're going to lose that human connection and that conversation that you'd have with a person.
I completely hear you and feel you.
Yeah.
So, as we said, right, every solution we are developing with AI or generative AI, right, we are developing co-pilots. This
Mm-hmm.
is not an autopilot, which basically means that we will always have human in the loop. The technologies that AI would automate are the ones which are repetitive and mundane. And then, you can use those resources to focus on more creative that really requires a human, right? And as you mentioned, right, for a representative, you wouldn't know everything, so you would have to take time to go and search that knowledge base, come back to it. Often you might not be able to have that entire information in a knowledge base. You might have to go to someone, so it takes a lot of time. And to your point of piloting, yes, I have seen so many organizations who have actually implemented AI powered call transcription and summarization, and they have seen a lot of improvement in the number of calls that they can handle in a day, because your average length of a call is significantly reduced, because of course AI can answer most of the questions, and only to questions which are like very critical, or not out of the scope, something that really needs a human. There is always a human in the loop to make sure that those additional questions are answered. So again, two pros and cons of things, but that's with every technology, or that's with everything that is new, right? So we always have that apprehension, okay, it's gonna work, it's not gonna work, and then once we start playing with those, exploring those, and seeing more of those, by human nature, we either get used to it, accustomed to it, or we figured out how to live with it, right? So I think that's what's gonna happen with this as well.
And from your experience, like, are you seeing in the retail industry specifically that AI is being more used in large retailers like Amazon, Walmart, or are you seeing even smaller shops and smaller retailers would eventually use AI? As an example, like usually for a convenience store or for a
Yeah.
small business, local business, you wouldn't necessarily be able to have the budget to have a customer service model. But I think with AI right now, even small business have that edge that they can even have that customer service segment, even though they don't have the manpower, but they can kind of use the AI technology to build some of their capacity that they did not have before.
Absolutely. We are definitely seeing organizations implement AI use cases across the board, like, from major retailers to, even small and medium businesses, because as you said, there is opportunity across all forms of business, so you can either use AI to automate some of your existing tasks, or you can use it, to for your creative purposes, for generating your marketing. Let's say your new marketing campaign, let's say you're opening up a store at XYZ location and you want to generate a marketing material, right? So you don't really need to hire a marketing analyst to do that. Probably you can do the task with AI, right? So of course, again, going back to your previous point, you have to be a little cautious about what you're using AI for and what not, because we will always have this aspect of privacy, security, governance around it,
Mm-hmm.
and responsible AI. You have to be a little cognizant about how you're using AI for your use cases. But yes, the entire industry is going towards democratizing AI and AI knowledge as well, right? Like you see all of these companies like Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, everyone is releasing this AI courses for free, right? Why? Because we definitely want more adoption of AI use cases, like innovative AI use cases coming to the market, and we want everyone to be a part of it. We don't want that this education or this
No.
course or these models to be only available for enterprise customers. We definitely want it to go to the small and medium customers, and even to individuals like us, right? Because
Yes.
we are using a lot of co-pilots today. Like I use co-pilots for recording my meetings, for transcribing my meetings, generating notes from my meetings, for my own connects, for example, and anything. Like if there's a long document and I want just particular information from those. So there's a bunch of use cases, not only for industry but also for individuals, to help with productivity and to actually dedicate our time and energy on productive things that no machine or no AI can do.
No. And as you were talking, I was thinking about how the revolution in the AI in the retail industry can easily be adopted even in the non-profit sector as well. Like for example, food banks. Food banks essentially runs like the way they do essentially a retail. It's just like the operational perspective. So inventory management, a lot of that work we can learn from the retail industry, and we can kind of duplicate those some of those processes, use some of the use cases in food banks. So there's a lot of like great things that can happen.
Yes. To your point of nonprofits, we have actually done a project with Goodwills that has helped us in Goodwills as an organization accepts all of this t-shirts and clothes
Hmm.
and other things that you can donate there. But it requires a lot of manual intervention to list those products, right? So right now there's a custom vision model which can so if you just take a picture of that, it will help you in generating descriptions, like let's say a women's shirt of size L, and it should be typically priced at let's say $20, and generate a description for it, like let's say of brand Nike, whatever, right? So this is also providing jobs to millions of people, because we need people to scan those like t-shirts plus, but then they don't have to manually write the description on their own. So we are able to quickly list that on the Goodwill site, and there is a huge post and article that the Goodwill CEO has written on top of it. So yes, we are seeing use cases across the board, like starting from non-profits to personal to small and medium businesses, retail, financial services, like name it.
That's really great. I'm very excited for it. But let's also talk about failures, right? Because
Yes.
things can
Why
go
not?
wrong. Nothing is always perfect. And, we want to make sure that we give all perspective, the wins and also the failures and the lessons learned. So, from your experiences, are you seeing any major failures where AI didn't just get it right, or, the use case didn't turn exactly like how the people were envisioning and they had to pivot and do something else? Like, can we learn from these moments? Are you seeing it on your day to day?
So I wouldn't call it as failure. It's about the knowledge of it, maybe I would say, and I'll explain it that way. So we say there's a popular phrase that goes in the data and AI industry, which is garbage in, garbage out. So any small language model, if you want to fine tune it, or any large language model, if you want to fine tune it, though you wouldn't want to fine tune a large language model, but your AI models will be only as good as your data. So data quality is of concern for mostly all the organizations,
Yeah.
like for most of the organizations that we work with. So that's one thing. So organizations need to work on their data quality, data governance, to make sure that the data that they're using to build their AI systems are of good quality. So that's a lesson that we have definitely seen across the board for organizations. And often we now, with the boom of these generative AI technologies, right, we feel, or that the generative AI can be used for any and every scenario, which is not true. There are still scenarios which requires classical ML, like classical machine learning algorithm of predictive analytics and classifications and everything, right? So there are some misconceptions in the industry that we are still working to, like resolve to or educate people on, but those things do exist. And again, other things, like when the first OpenAI models came up and Azure OpenAI models came up, it was always like, what data is being used to train this model? Like, if I use or if I implement a RAG architecture on top of these models, will my data be used to train the models? The answer is no. Your data is not used to absolutely train the models. When you're doing a RAG architecture, your data is in your data. It stays within your tenant, within with your customer managed keys, and all of the security infrastructure that you have. So these are some misconceptions that probably took us 6, 7, 8 months or maybe a year to resolve, but I think now everyone gets it. So just some guardrails that we keep in mind while implementing all of this AI solutions. Responsible is the first thing. Like, we don't even talk about any solutions before talking about the responsible AI frameworks, right? And how do you evaluate the performances of these models? So yes, those are some of the crucial things to keep in mind. Otherwise, of course, we are seeing a lot of use cases in production, just doing things in the right way.
And I also like want to add to that. Thank you for sharing. One thing that comes to my mind is in the retail industry, especially like if I say not AI failure, but I guess negatively impact of AI could be for people's shopping experience. Especially those who are shopaholics. So that's one thing, that's the only thing that concerns me a little bit, because we see a lot of like especially the younger generations that are using a lot of these different shopping apps, right? And if you get like that constant recommendation, that personalized recommendation of exactly what you want constantly, then you kind of it it's inevitable to not fall into that habit of, so there's that aspect that kind of a little bit worries me. I know it's less about AI, more about human behavior, but it could be easily triggered by how it's being used.
I agree. I'm myself a victim of that. But yeah, I mean, like, technology advancements will always happen. Again, if you really want to, turn off your recommendations and all of it, you can always choose not to
Do
share
that.
your data, right?
Yeah.
You can always use a web browser that does not, like collect your history, collect your data. There's always options of doing that. But again, if you don't want those options for yourself, it is on your own control to
Mm-hmm.
either go with that or not go with that.
Yeah, same with social media. Like if you don't want to see a content, you have that option to see that I don't want to see this type of content, right? Same with like shopping or anything else.
Yes.
But yes, so anytime there's like, this new technology, this evolution happen, there's always going to be good and bad that's going to be in the mix. So it's essentially for people to kind of choose and thread carefully and make sure that at the end of the day, the onus is on ourselves to be responsible, to use it responsibly, and also to have that knowledge and learn about it. Like what are the parameters surrounding it? So for my next question, I always want to talk about, because this is like always a hot topic, is how will the revolution of AI impact the job industry? We'll see a lot of jobs go away, but a lot of jobs will be created. Like this is something that Ashwarya actually spoke about as well when she was here, that we'll see like economies of scale, we'll see lots of new opportunity. So from your experience, just specific to the retail industry, what type of new jobs do you see coming into that industry?
Well, that's an excellent point. And as you mentioned, of course, the type of jobs are gonna change. But as I said, all the systems that we are developing are definitely autopilots, not co-pilots. Sorry, co-pilots and not
Yeah.
autopilots, which basically mean we will always need a human in the loop. So the number of people can be less, but we would still need, like, let's say, for example, even software engineering for that matter, right? Which is across the board. So because we have GitHub Copilot and like other copilots that help you in writing that first version of code. So going forward, so instead of having like requiring, let's say, 8 SDs in my team, probably I would need 8, but I would still need those SDs, and those other 2 SDs are not gonna be jobless. They're probably gonna transition into ML engineers or AI engineers or AI architects. So there's always the, like, if there's a technological shift, you need to make sure that you're aligned to that, right? So that if some of these jobs are getting replaced by a new job, so you can get upskilled and get those new jobs. And I think last year there was this popular discussion that was going on: AI won't take your jobs, but then you need to make sure how to use AI to work for you, and to so that you are employed as well. So that's what I would say in terms of the different jobs or how the job market is going to be impacted. But I definitely feel like AI focused roles are becoming the next thing. In the retail industry specifically, I don't think there's like anything like specifically to the retail industry, because again, we see robots already coming in some of the supply chains. There's gonna be a lot of development on that. So robotics is definitely getting popular right now in supply chain optimizations and in inventory management. So that's something that's happening in the retail sector. So getting upskilled on those is definitely recommended. So of course, and we know the world is moving towards quantum as well. So
Mm-hmm.
and robotics, those are the next thing that's gonna be big in the world of AI, and of course retail.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about the multi-agent systems. We already touched based a little bit about like agentic AI having that specific small language model. But how do you see multi-agent system? And you can start by kind of describing it a little bit about to our audience about what multi-agent systems are.
Of course, as I said, multi-agent systems are definitely getting more popular with the popularity of agentic AI right now. It's basically where multiple AI agents work together to solve a complex problem. And we are seeing this implementation across various scenarios. For example, you can have a financial services agentic AI system. Now, this can be used to, let's say, automate some of the complex processes, like, let's say, loan underwriting. Now, how these systems work is they decompose tasks into specialized subtasks and collaborate across systems and also iteratively define the outputs based on the feedback. So basically breaking a complex big task into smaller, simpler tasks, and then each agent can work on those, and then ultimately everything can be collaborated together. Do it iteratively to define some of the or to refine some of the outputs based on the feedback. So that's one example in the retail industry. That's one example in the financial services. In retail as well, we are seeing some of the operations, like to enhance some of the operations, such as, let's say, supply chain management and also maybe customer service, right? So, for example, we can use multiple AI agents that can work together to optimize inventory levels, predict demand, and also manage logistics. So, and this will help in ensuring that products are available when and where the customers needs them. Additionally, we have also seen AI agents. They can collaborate and also provide seamless customer service, handle queries and process returns, and also maybe offer personalized recommendations. Basically different agents doing different things and specialized to do different things, and in an environment where they are collaborative, they can talk to each other, exchange information, and finally deliver one output. So as the technology evolves and as the generative AI space becomes more matured, we can definitely expect to see more sophisticated applications in areas like, let's say, healthcare, in smart cities, where multiple agents can coordinate to optimize some of the operations and also to improve outcomes. And I definitely think that this collaborative approach allows for more efficient and also for effective problem solving, which ultimately definitely benefits the businesses and also the customers.
So what you're saying is essentially without it's not just going to be, one role, but you can have like a whole team of AI agents working together to solve a particular problem,
Big complex problem, yes.
big complex problem.
Correct.
Okay. No, that's really great. We are coming to the end of our show. So thank you so much. Is there one message that you want to share with the audience, like any advice or how to navigate?
Yes, technology changes every now and then. So make sure that you are upskilled and you know what's the latest and greatest that's happening in the industry, and also what's the next trend. I have definitely given some hints about it. So, follow if you're in the technological sector, of course, follow the recent trends and make sure that you are aligned to that, your career wise as well, and also out of personal interest. So that's one thing. If you have to be relevant in the technological industry, you need to know where the industry is headed to and align yourself with that. That has been my strategy throughout. Like 5 years back, when big data analytics was becoming more common, I jumped into the industry from being a software engineer, like software engineer, to data analytics and doing all the big data engineering, and now into the AI side of the house. So make sure that you are relevant to where the industry is headed towards.
Oh, that's really great advice, right? Like at the end of the day, your career, your life, your learning, it's all in your hands. So the
Absolutely.
world is gonna be, always evolving and changing. It's just you need to make sure that you are staying ahead of the curve and you are taking your career on your own hands and you are taking those steps to upskill yourself. So thank you so much, Ananya. That's really great. You have shared a lot of great insights and I look forward to talk to you again. Thank you. And that's a wrap, everyone. We'll see you again with our next guest. Stay tuned. Bye.
Thank you so much for having me, Mehnaz. And yes, look forward to collaborating with you soon. Bye.